She abandoned me while I cared for my dying father. But when his will made me a millionaire, she came back begging. I thought I was just doing my duty, caring for my dying father. But what followed was a nightmare of emotional abuse, a betrayal that tore my family apart, and an ultimate twist that proved just how wrong I was about everything and everyone. Look, my dad, he's been battling kidney problems for years. For the past 2 or 3, though, it's gotten really serious. He needs dialysis twice a week, and he's gotten so weak he can barely manage on his own. I'm 36, married with 2 kids, and I'm his only son. There was no question in my mind. I had to be there for him. So, I made a routine. Saturdays are my day off, easy. Wednesdays, I worked it out with my boss. Bless his heart. I've been with the company for 10 years, and he knows I'm a loyal guy. He let me leave early, and I'd just make up the hours by working late after dropping Dad off. It was a compromise, but it worked. I just couldn't leave him alone, not like this. The real problem? It wasn't my job. It was my wife, Ale. The moment she found out I was going to be taking my dad twice a week, she flipped. Honestly, she'd never liked me taking him even occasionally, but she'd kept it to herself. Now that it was a regular thing, she just couldn't hold back. She said, right to my face, that there was no point wasting my time on my father because whatever I do he was never going to be impressed by me. Ouch, right? For a bit of context, my dad used to own a successful merchandising business. He wanted me to take it over, but I was obsessed with technology, with coding. I wanted to build software, not sell widgets. So, after high school, when he pushed for business courses, I enrolled in a software degree. He was okay with that, as long as I eventually joined his company. But after graduation, I went straight to a big tech firm. He was devastated. He kept asking me to join, and I kept putting him off. Then came my wedding. He asked one last time. I said no. He exploded. Said he'd give all his wealth to charity, that I wouldn't get a penny. I didn't budge. I was earning good money, bought my own car and house by 29. I was confident I could build a good life without his money. I told him as much. After that, our relationship went completely cold. 5 years ago, my mom passed away from a heart attack. That shattered Dad. You see, I'd moved out for college at 17, then lived on my own after that. Mom was his only companion. Losing her, it broke him. But it also brought us back together. I started visiting more, bringing the kids to see him. Eventually, he even stepped down from his company and put it into a trust. He just couldn't do it anymore. Elle was never close to my parents. When Mom was alive, Elle would complain she was too nosy. And when my dad threatened to disinherit me, Elle was the first to openly trash them, calling them mean and evil. I told her to stay out of it, that my relationship with my parents was my business. But she insisted it would affect our future and the kids. I tried to reassure her we'd be fine, but she just wouldn't hear it. So, back to the dialysis. Ale threw a fit. I tried to explain. Dad has no one else. Mom's gone. His brother lives across the city and rarely visits. He's so lonely. And in this condition, I can't abandon him. She just didn't get it. She made my life a living hell. Every Saturday, without fail, she'd have some elaborate plan. A deep clean, a party, a kids' outing, or, no joke, a massive grocery run. I told her, plan whatever you want for Sundays, but Saturdays are for Dad. But she'd stick to her plan, then chew me out for being late, or for missing it. I'd rush to pick Dad up, race him to dialysis, then drop him off and speed home, only to be met with her sarcasm and tantrums. Wednesdays were just as bad. I'd promised my boss I'd make up my hours at night, but almost every Wednesday evening, Elle would just disappear. She'd go meet friends, see her family, attend some random party, leaving me with the kids. After a hectic day at work, then dialysis, I'd come home to juggle cooking, feeding the little one, and trying to finish my work tasks. It was exhausting. My dad saw it, of course. He'd suggest I let the nurse take him, noticing me always glancing at my watch, rushing. After dropping him home, I'd bolt. When picking him up, I'd ask him to be ready outside so I wouldn't lose a second. He has a full-time nurse and caretaker, but I still felt guilty for not spending more time with him. That 30-minute drive to the center, it used to be precious. We'd chat about old times, about the kids. But with Elle's constant demands, all I could think about was getting back home. I'd overspeed, cut lanes, just to shave off a few minutes. I didn't want to give up that time with him, but it was just so hard. It was just getting worse every single day. My wife, Ale, She was leaving no stone unturned to stop me from seeing my father. Her point? It was a lost deal. Dad had disinherited me, given everything to charity, so why waste time and energy on him? I just couldn't understand that mindset. Do we do everything purely for profit? Do kids abandon parents just because they have nothing to offer? After months of this, I snapped. You're not inheriting anything from your parents, I told her. So why do you visit them every now and then? Oh my God. She absolutely lost her sh*t. My parents did so much more than your greedy father, she screamed. They supported me in everything. They're not like your father, who disowned you for not joining his business. My father would never have done that to me. So don't you dare compare my parents to yours. This wasn't just a one-off. These arguments became our new normal, almost every Wednesday and Saturday after I got back from dialysis. And they got uglier, more severe. At first, it was just us, but then I started hearing her yell at me in front of the kids. Not only that, but I overheard her bad-mouthing my dad, manipulating our children against him and against me. I intervened, and it led to another brutal fight. Ilse fights became a routine. On the rare days she didn't fight, I felt like something was missing, only for her to come back even more aggressive the next day. I almost gave up. I stopped yelling back. I just ignored her, as if she didn't exist. What else could I do? I couldn't abandon my father just to please her. Honestly, I didn't care if he'd kicked me out of his will. He did it because of my decision. I refused his company, and he had to give his life's work to a trust. That must have been heartbreaking for him. That company was his baby. He had every right to disown me. I had hurt him. Sometimes, I felt like karma was biting me back. Dad, meanwhile, was getting weaker by the day. He could barely walk. To save time, I used to ask him to meet me outside, but not anymore. I didn't care about being late. I'd go inside, carefully walk him to the car, and then, after dialysis, I'd drop him off and make sure he was settled comfortably in bed. He was having shortness of breath, so I walked him slowly, at his pace. I drove carefully, no speeding, no quick turns that would raise his heart rate. I didn't care about rushing home to her anymore. If I had to deal with that evil woman anyway, I might as well make Dad happy. My new, casual attitude only made things worse with Ale. Then, one day, she gave me an ultimatum. You need to choose one of them, she said, either your dad or me. I tried one last time to make her understand. Dad's not going to be with us forever, I told her. Given his condition, it doesn't look like he has long. Her reply was cold, cutting. In that case, she sneered, you need to make your choice carefully. Someone who is going to be with you forever, or someone who is going to die soon. That was it. That was truly insensitive. The mask finally fell. You know what? I said, my voice shaking. I'd better choose my dad than choose you. Someone so evil and selfish towards a dying man. She packed her bags and left. I didn't stop her. She needed space, and frankly, so did I. In her absence, I was juggling the house, the kids, my dad, and my work. But you know what? I felt so relieved, so relaxed. Her absence was actually soothing. 2 days later, she sent me divorce papers. I was expecting it, deep down, but not so soon. I was shocked, yes, but underneath it all, I felt happy, relieved. I didn't call her. I just signed the papers and sent them back. The most surprising thing? She didn't ask for custody of the children. That was the only clause I was truly worried about. But she clearly didn't want them. When she received the signed papers, she called me back, absolutely screaming. How could you just sign them without calling me, without pleading with me? Funny, right? Then her mom snatched the phone, yelling that I should have acted like a man, and tried to pacify my wife instead of just signing. Why would I do that? She wanted a divorce, and I complied. It was good for me. I got rid of her without a fuss. I couldn't help but taunt her a little, asking why she abandoned her own children. She just said I could have all my assets, including the kids. She didn't want any of it. Her mother chimed in, saying Ale was still very young and didn't want the baggage of children on her shoulders. Fine by me, I told them. I'm glad to have my kids with me. It was a relief, no doubt, but I was still worried about them. They missed their mom, especially the younger one. With me at the office, it was tough managing everything alone. But I hoped we'd sail through. It's going to be a shorter update, but honestly, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Following some suggestions, I shifted to Dad's house with my children. And let me tell you, it was a game changer. It was good for all of us. Dad finally had the company of my children, and they got their grandpa to play with. Plus, Dad already had a full-time caretaker. So, having someone ready to help with the kids, under my dad's supervision, best deal ever. It's been such a happy feeling to see Dad playing and laughing with my children, and them having the time of their lives with their grandpa. Ale never saw this coming. She thought she was going to make my life miserable by divorcing me, that I wouldn't be able to juggle everything: the kids, my dad, the house, work. But you know what? Everything's perfect. I'm definitely having the last laugh. That divorce was the best thing ever. LOL. Then, just last week, the unthinkable happened. Dad passed away. He went to bed happy and content after playing with my children, and he never woke up again. The doctor said he died peacefully. His nurse, his caretaker, even the doctor confirmed it. Dad was genuinely happy after I moved in with him. They said it actually extended his life by several months. He was on the verge of giving up before I came. It's so incredibly sad to lose your only parent, but I'm so grateful he got to spend his last few months surrounded by love, truly happy. My children are heartbroken, of course, but Dad imparted such good values to them. They told me Grandpa taught them to accept reality and move on. That life never stops. I'm so proud to hear that from them. They are truly my strength in this moment of despair. But there was one more piece of shocking news that came after Dad's demise. His lawyer reached out, asking me to come to his office to read the will. I told him it wasn't necessary. Dad already told me he gave all his wealth to the trust. I said, I'm fine with that. Just proceed with the paperwork. I even asked if I needed to vacate Dad's house, assuming that went to the charity too. The lawyer just laughed and told me to come over. When I arrived, the trust members were already there. The lawyer had called them too. As he started reading the will, I just broke down. Tears streamed down my face. Dad, he had actually willed me as his sole heir. All his business, his house, his wealth, it was all for me. I asked the lawyer if the will had been changed recently. I thought maybe he'd made the change after I started taking care of him. The lawyer smiled gently. You were always his heir, he said. The will was never altered. I was inconsolable, crying, sobbing, realizing my dad had never abandoned me. Maybe he threatened to disown me so that I would take forward his business, his legacy, but he never truly meant it. I cried about how much I'd hurt him throughout his life, and yet he always cared for me. The lawyer gently pacified me. He said Dad was actually incredibly proud that I hadn't given up on my passion under his pressure, that I was happy to pursue my dreams even at the cost of generational wealth. Dad was proud of me. The lawyer told me I was the decision maker for the business. If I wanted, I could take the company back from the trust and run it myself. I'm thinking of doing exactly that. I did whatever I wanted to do, and Dad, in his own way, supported me. Now it's my turn to pay him back. I'm going to take his business back from the trust and scale it to the level he always dreamed of. I came home and told my children about their grandpa's will. He'd even left a portion of his wealth for them when they turned 18. Today, we went to his grave with flowers and just spent some time in serenity. It's a very emotional phase for me, but it's also filled with a new sense of purpose. You know how ants come running when they smell sugar? Well, about a month after Dad's demise, they started showing up. With the news out that I had inherited my father's $1 million wealth, I got a flood of visitors, long-lost relatives, friends, neighbors. But the most surprising ones were my ex-wife, Ale, and her parents. They walked into the house, crocodile tears streaming down their faces, sobbing that they hadn't known about my father's death, or else they would have attended the funeral. Her parents went on and on about all the good things about my dad. Ale hugged the children, crying about how much she missed them. I just stared at her. If you missed them so much, I asked, my voice flat, why didn't you visit them in the last 7 or 8 months? She mumbled some nonsense about going to our old house, but it was locked. What a load of BS. Weren't you worried about your own children? I pressed. When you saw the house was locked? Didn't you feel it necessary to contact me and check if they were fine? She had no answer. Her parents, ever the opportunists, jumped in. Let's forget whatever has happened in the past. They started. Now that your father is gone, the children will be left alone in the house when you're at work. They need a mother, so it's better that you two reconcile. I couldn't help it. I actually laughed in their faces. The children needed her the most when she left them to me, I said. Now, they've gotten used to her absence, and I don't want her back in my life. She started crying. Her parents wisely backed off and left us alone. She grabbed my hands, pleading for reconciliation, saying she loved me, missed being with the children. I pulled my hands away. You know what? I said, looking her straight in the eye. You don't love me. You love the wealth my dad left to me. You and your greedy parents are here on my doorstep just to leech on my money. I don't regret using those words for her parents, because that's exactly what they are. She'd called my dad greedy and mean during our divorce. There was no way I was letting this woman have a penny of my dad's hard-earned money. She got offended, naturally, that I had abused her parents. She said until now, she'd been pleading with me because she loved me, but now she would take what is rightfully hers. She hadn't demanded alimony during the divorce, but now she wanted half of my wealth, or rather, half of my dad's wealth. You can do whatever you want, I told her, my voice unwavering. I'll destroy you, but I won't give you a penny. She cursed me and stormed out. I immediately discussed this with my lawyer. He said her chances were slim. The divorce had settled a year before I got the inheritance. Plus, the children were with me, so there was no way she could get anything. But he did warn me to be careful about letting her spend time with the children. She could manipulate them, file for custody, and then use them to demand money for maintenance. I couldn't be more thankful for that advice. I'm going to supervise any meetings. And I'm spending a lot more time with the kids these days, helping them cope with their loss so they don't feel the need to run to their mommy for emotional support. Taking over Dad's company has actually given me a lot more flexibility to manage my well-being and personal life. I'm even planning a lavish vacation to the Bahamas with the kids. Why not? They deserve this. It's not about overspending my dad's wealth. I could have afforded it before, but I just didn't have the time, juggling work and dad. Now that I can, I want to give them everything. As for Ale, she hasn't contacted me since that last visit. I think she's probably busy knocking on every lawyer's office, trying to find someone to take her case against me. Good luck to her. She'll need it.